It's DEW Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this DEW Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Oh, yesterday was Wow Wednesday, everybody. And we got to talking with Vivian and her socially conscious segment. And we talked about MTA is now announcing a trial program where they're going to take the cops officially off the bus routes so that they can get the people to pay the bus fare by training MTA workers. Now, the MTA workers will not be able to detain you. They'll only be able to give you a fine, but they're hoping that with all the prejudice that the police department has been showing, that the MTA workers will not be able, will be able to kind of step away from that. But here's the problem. Who's listening to the MTA workers? They're not even listening to the cops. Well, the DEW Time crew, they do not believe that this is going to be a remedy. They're going to rip up these fines and throw them in the garbage, and they're not going to pay them any attention. And I can guarantee you there will be a whole lot of pushback and challenge. So I don't know. But the wow story of the morning was the father that his sons not only went into his computer, but they saw pictures of him wearing diapers, wearing his women's underwear, and eating feces. And when his son Dylan approached him about it, he killed him, decapitated him, cut his body up, buried him. Not only that, but he was a part of the search party. He was on TV crying and grieving his son, only for them to have found out that he was the one that was the killer. Yes, all to keep from telling that these were his indiscretions. But thank God for the younger son who had pictures of what they found on the computer and was able to tell the story. Now, I tell you, you talk about some stories of stories, and all Vivian's socially conscious stories. I think this one took the official cake. Yeah, this was one of the worst. But that's just part of how we spent our Wow Wednesday. Now, our extra topic was really, really crazy. We talked about the hairstylists and holding people hostage and pulling people's hair out. Oh yeah, it gets real. So my advice is to go back and watch or listen to yesterday's episode right here on the Closer Walk Christian Media Network or Facebook, Coach for Christian Life. Or if you can't watch, then listen on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Apple iTunes, wherever you can stream, catch it, because we are definitely there. That's how we spent our Wednesday. Well, today is Therapeutic Thursday. Yes, today we talk about our health in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, it don't matter. The DEW Time crew gets the job done. We don't talk about health in any old kind of way. So stay tuned, join us. Make sure you go get that healthy breakfast. Make sure you go tell somebody, anybody, everybody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right.
This is why you need to know Augustus Jackson, the man who turned ice cream into a universal delight. Born in 1808, Jackson started young, cooking for US presidents at just 9 years old. But his real magic began when he left the White House for Philadelphia. Here, he revolutionized ice cream by creating the eggless recipe we still use today. Before Jackson, ice cream was a luxury for the rich. His ingenious use of salt lowered the freezing point, making it easier to produce and more affordable. He sold his creations in metal tins to local black-owned parlors, democratizing dessert. Jackson's legacy isn't just in the flavors, but in the joy and accessibility of ice cream itself. His passion for bringing people together over a shared love for ice cream has made it more than a treat. So next time you enjoy a scoop, remember Augustus Jackson, the man who made every lick possible.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Therapeutic Thursday. It's kind of dark in here. Wow. I don't know if you're seeing me dark. I'm seeing me dark, but we're going to try to work this thing out. Despite it all. Yeah, it's a little dark, but it's all right. You can hear me. You can see me. We're going to make this happen. We're going to say good morning to all of my people in viewer land. If you're out there, please make sure you say good morning to Pastor Steph, because remember, I don't know you're out there unless you say a hearty good morning to me. So, where's Ketty today? We don't have our girl Ketty in the house. We're just hoping and praying that everything is okay. Let's make sure we got it. Yeah, our girl Ketty is missing this morning. But we got our boy Serge in the house. Let's say good morning to Serge. Good morning, Serge. Thank you so much for joining us. We got our boy Terrence, our king, Terrence, in the house. Good morning, Terrence. Thank you so much for being on with us today. We got our lady Tamika in the house. Hey, Tamika girl. Thank you so much for joining us, as Tamika is on a vocal hiatus for a little while. And we must say good morning to the ladies who keep us held down each and every day. Terrence says Ketty is on. I don't see her. Well, good morning, my girl. I'm happy to know that you're on. All right. Amen. All right. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Let's say good morning to our girl Anika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And can you imagine ice cream was started by somebody on this side of the fence? I tell you, a lot of information we are not privy to unless we actually go out and do our research. So thanks to our brother Al for that one this morning. Wow. I got a little, We'll do some. Oh, if Miss Grace is out there, I always like to give her a shout out, just in case she's out there. Let's say good morning to Miss Grace. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope you're nice and toasty inside this morning. So today I'm going to do something a little different. Every once in a while, I don't do a health tip per se, but before we get started with that, I do want to let you know that shredded cheese is on recall. Yes, before you know it, we'll be standing up in a box and moving around like this because everything is on recall. Yes, they have multiple brands that are that have been distributed to Aldi's, Publix, Target, Walmart. Again, Aldi, Publix, Target, and Walmart. Okay. Now, of course, 31 states and in Puerto Rico. So let me see if I can give you just a little bit of information, but I really encourage you to go online and find, where you can get all of the thorough information from. Okay, let's see. If you have Borden cheese, you have Borden, Always Save. I'm going to give you the brands because they all have one or two different products in that brand. But let me tell you something. It's brought 236,000 cases of low moisture part skim mozzarella shredded cheese. So check out Always Save, Borden, Brookshire's, Cascade Valley Creamery, Chestnut Hill, Colburn Farms, Econo, Food Club, Food Lion, Gold Rush, Good and Gather, Great Lakes, Happy Farms, HEB, yeah, that's the name of the brand, Hill Country Fair, Know and Love, that's KNOW, Know and Love, Laura Lynn, Lucerne Dairy Farms, New Farm, Publix, Shucks, SCHUCK''S, Shucks Simply Go, Sprouts Farmers Market, Stater Brothers Markets, Sunnyside Farms Cheese. Yeah. So check out if you have any of those brands in your house, you can take it back to the store without any problem. All righty. So if you want to throw it away, you can do that too, but you can't get your money back. So that's a good thing. All right. Pulled up a list of appliances that they say you should always unplug when you're not using them. Okay? All right. If you need to write it down, go get your pens so we can make sure we are following these tips because this is important. Space heaters. All righty. Now, we know space heaters are at the top of the list. They say space heaters are responsible for about 10,000 fires per year. Alone, 10,000 per year. I don't know if y'all remember in the Bronx a few years ago, one horrific fire from a space heater. So please, they say as far as power usage, space heaters have, some of them have the digital timers, temperature sensors. Some of them are made that if they tip over, they automatically shut off. Yes, because normally if it tips over onto a rug, it can cause a fire. Please keep your space heaters away from blankets, curtains, anything that could smother and potentially start a fire. Alrighty. Make sure when you are not using them, they are unplugged. Okay. They say also space heaters draw a lot of power when they are running. So when you plug them on a power strip, it increases the risk of fire because space heaters are not supposed to be plugged into a surge protector. No, space heaters are to be plugged directly into the wall. And I know it's a drag because they don't make the cords long and sometimes it doesn't quite reach where you want it to reach. But listen, it's better to be safe than sorry, okay? So they say, keeping those things in mind if you're about your energy. The space heaters use up a lot of energy. I have to tell you, my energy bill has gone up since I started using space heaters. So yeah. All right. We're talking about things you need to unplug if you're not using them. Hair dryers and hair styling tools. So you got hair dryers, curling irons, straighteners. They say those things do not generally cut off when not in use. They do have some that do. I used to own one that did. But on a regular basis, they do not shut off automatically. So you want to make sure for energy purposes and safety purposes, please do not put your curling irons and your hair straighteners on a dresser. I remember a few decades ago, bad fire. Someone left the curling iron on the dresser, and curling irons and those what do you call those things, flat irons, they get extremely hot, so you don't want to leave them on your dresser and things like that. Make sure that you are unplugging them when you're not using them so there will be no fires. All righty. TVs. Now this is because for those of us who have TVs that are behind, like the wire goes behind the wall and all of that kind of good stuff, that's a pain in the neck. But they say TVs need to draw power so that they always can be ready. So you can click them on with the remote control. But the amount of energy that TVs use, quite a bit. They say with some using just 2 watts and some using up to 54 watts. You might want to unplug that bad boy. But listen, when you buy your TV, just check the energy saving yellow tag. Yeah, it's there. All right. And you can find that out before you buy your TV, Yes, because that is one of the primary pieces of information that people look for. What else are we talking about? Heated towel warmers. Well, who's rich? Because I ain't never even heard of this before. Yeah, they said luxury towel warmers can use up to 140 watts of power if you leave them plugged in. So unplug them. And they can also be a potential fire hazard. Turn them bad boys off, unplug them, everything. Why do you need a towel warmer? Yo, you got too much money. They say video game consoles and set-top boxes. You want to make sure that they are also unplugged. They say they are one of the biggest energy vampires. So they said even when they're on sleep mode. Wow. So unplug it. Home office equipment. All right. So they're talking about your shredders, your printers. Yeah, they said unplug them until you're ready to use them. They use up a lot of energy. All right. Kitchen appliances with timers and clocks. I have had this article on the back burner. Unplug your microwaves. Yeah, they say that eats up a lot of energy. A lot of energy. So please unplug them when you're not using them. computers. They say putting computers into sleep mode helps energy usage, but your laptops and your desktops are still drawing energy when they're plugged in and turned on. You may not be able to see it, but it is hidden in your electricity bill. So they say a desktop can use between 1 to 49 watts of power when idle over 24 hours, which can add up to $50 on your electric bill. I don't have $50, do you? Okay. So make sure you turn them off. Now listen, I spoke to someone at the energy company, and she told me that anything that is plugged up is pulling energy. Anything. She said, because remember, it's always running current, so when you turn it on, it can come on. So lamps and all kinds of things that you're not using, unplug them. I put my stuff on a surge protector. Yeah, and just hit that surge protector, turn it off, turn on. And that means your chargers, all kinds of things. So if you want to save a couple of bucks, just unplug your stuff. All right. They also say that you need to place multiple items on a surge protector. I tell you, that's what I do. And that way, once you hit it, everything is off automatically. But your surge protector is plugged into the wall, so that is generating energy, by the way. Just throw that in. All righty. So please, especially those heaters. Oh my goodness, especially those heaters. All righty. Let me see what's going on here. We got a check-in from our girl Teresa. Hey Teresa, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see. We have a check-in from Alex the man. All right. Now, Alex is asking, how are they treating me in here? They do me pretty well. They do. Terrence, on the other hand, Alex, I don't know. Terrence gets a little out of the way at times, so just watch out for Terrence. Check him if he needs to, be checked. All right. Let's get to our news. What are we talking about this morning? The news was full of, murders. Yeah, and I was like, I can't do all murders all the time. I need something else to talk about. So we're going to get our news on now and see what we can find. We are going to talk about a few murders though, because I started to call this one Are They Crazy Thursday? Yeah. All right. So I did have something that I wanted to start off a little on a good note today, since we're always talking about the kiddies and how they treat their moms and dads. Well, there's a 7-year-old hero, and I am really excited to talk about this one in Miami. Aiden James. So, excuse me. Mom warned Aiden because she's, I guess, she has epilepsy. She warned him at 7 that if he should see her having a seizure, he should call 911 immediately. Well, sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Mom fell to the floor having a seizure, and little Aiden called 911, told them his mom was having a seizure. He told them that he lived in Casa Palmas, and he asked, is that enough? Well, he said, I don't know how to do this. I'm freaking out. And the dispatch was on point. She got him to calm down, told him to take a deep breath. I'm here. Don't worry about it, Aiden. I got you. He says, I don't want mommy to die. He was, like you said, he was freaking out. And he stayed on point. He made sure he gave her all of the information. When he heard the ambulance coming, he asked if he should go outside. She said, nope, stay inside. He took the phone outside and waved them down. And he really held it down. And thank God for little Aiden. He also, at the same time, kept his little sister actually pretty calm, was rubbing her hand, told her, mommy's going to be okay, calm down. And she was able to hold it because he held on. So, all it takes is a little bit of training. I've seen adults panic like crazy, but I tell you, panicking is only going to dislodge your thoughts. So, just keep yourself together. And when you do that, you can teach your children how to keep it together. So they did ask him, what do you want to tell people? And he said, I want to tell parents to teach their children their phone number and their address. It was key in him getting help for his mom. So mom is doing well, thanks to little Aiden. So amen, amen, and amen. All righty. So I just wanted to share that with you. We're always talking about the people who do their parents dirty. So we want to salute little Aiden this morning. All right. Now on to the murders. Well, over at Little Caesar in a safe out in Arizona, a husband and wife was arguing earlier during the early part of the day. And he ended up going to work with her as she walked into the job at Little Caesar's. And not only killed her, but killed the man who she worked with. Yeah, killed her co-worker because he thought that he was cheating with his wife. So shot her, shot him, and I tell you, these people are really, really sick. He was upset because he did not have a job, and that was part of the argument earlier that day. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't even know. It's like, do you even argue with people, even your spouses? Because this is all of this stuff. The arguing precipitates the murders, the shootings. So he actually killed, I believe, he killed the coworker. And when they asked him why, he said because he thought that by the way she was acting, that they were cheating. And I'm sorry, if they weren't, but I just assumed that that's what they were doing. She was acting funny. He was acting funny. And now he's down. He killed the wife and the coworker. So now he's down for 2 counts of murder. And he's in jail on a $2 million cash only bond. So I don't even know. It's like, do we argue with people these days? Again, you trying to prove your point. You trying to show that you're right, and so-and-so is wrong. And oh my, this is a mess. This is one big fat mess. You can't even disagree with your spouses anymore because you don't know whether they're going to pull out a gun and literally kill you. Excuse me. All right. What else are we talking about? All right. Talking about can't argue with people no more. Here you go. You got a tenant and a landlord dispute out in Wisconsin. And the landlord says that these people were dealing drugs. This guy was dealing drugs. So his name is Kevin Griffin. He's facing felony charges in connection with the shooting deaths of 39-year-old Terrence and 31-year-old Anya. Now, here's what's interesting about this story. So he's been trying to get this guy out of his apartment. He's been trying to evict this man for quite some while. This man has been selling drugs, blah, 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 blah. And he said that the paperwork was just taking too long. And he confronted the tenant about leaving the back door open and letting people in. Well, he probably was letting them in because he was selling them drugs. And in the middle of the argument, he said something disrespectful, pulled out his gun, and shot the man. Now, here's the problem. He was making a drug deal. So he tells the woman who was buying the drugs to get in the car. He drives him and her 7-year-old child, I believe the child was 7, off and shoots her right in front of the son. Now, he doesn't kill the son. He puts the son back in the car, dumps the body of the woman, puts the child in the car, drives the child back over to the house, lets him out, tells him, your mom will be back. And the child is nonverbal. So somehow they ended up stumbling across the child and finding that this was his mom. And this is how they were able to put 2 and 2 together. Come to find out that this I'm trying to evict you was only part of the story. The mother of the tenant, drug dealer, said that they were going back and forth to court because there was water, no hot water. There was water, but no hot water. That's what I wanted to say. No hot water. So they were in dispute over that. The door that he claimed was being left open was a door that was damaged and could not close. And there were some other issues in railing and all of this kind of stuff. And he got mad because he went to court and filed the charges. So now he's dead. An innocent woman is dead. Child left without a mom. And he said, I'm sorry, but he disrespected me. So I lost it. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have lost it, but I did. Did I say stop arguing with people? Terrible. Terrible. This is the kind of news that I met last night. You know, this is just the stuff that goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. Now, let's see what else. Let's see what else we could talk about without murders being the case this morning. Oh my gosh. We've got to talk about this, but you know what? Before we talk about this one, because we are really talking about health today, because these people have lost their ever-loving mind. But in the interim, while we wait for our other due time crew members to come on who must be asleep, let's talk to our girl Shantice and see what she's got to say about this craziness that's going on. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well, thank you. I am well. Before we get started, let me see if we've got any check-ins here. Let's see. We've got a check-in. I believe that's Miss Herlima.
Yes.
Good morning. Miss Herlima, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, Brother Al is checking in because he must have heard me talking about him. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here with my other device, but it's a little crazy over here. Let's see if we can catch up on another. But what's going on? Let's talk about the good stuff first. Let's talk about the good stuff.
Okay.
Let's talk about the fact and how important it is for us to teach our children their phone numbers and their addresses, such as little Aiden, who was able to save his mom.
Yes. Amen. And we just did the story about the teacher who was enraged because she said her third graders, I think,
Right.
didn't know their address, their parents' names, phone numbers, and things like that. So third grade is 8-year-olds, are 8-year-olds. So now you have a child 1 year younger, so pretty much the same age. And he was not only able to remember her phone number, address, mommy's name, but to be able to keep it cool, calm, and collective enough to get help there. That is amazing. I'm sure when she came to and realized it was because of him that she was able to get the help, that just sent her in a whole emotional, because it's like my 7-year-old. Like, yeah, you prepare your children for these things, but you never really always keep your head wrapped around they're going to really have to be in this situation at some point. So amen to that, baby.
Absolutely. Let's just talk about arguing with people. Let's get Brother Al on, because I don't know. Pastor Kale is too busy checking in, talking about what it do, crew. I get on get in this room, talking about what it do, crew. We waiting for you. That's what we doing. Good morning, Brother Al.
Chop of the morning, and take it easy how you talk about me, okay? Take it easy. Shantice, how it going, girl?
Good morning.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Brother Al and Shantice, we've got two instances here where this arguing ended up leading to death. So you've got the couple who were arguing earlier in the day because he didn't have a job. And, this became a very tense situation. And he ends up going with her to work. Not only does he kill her, but he kills her co-worker who he believes is cheating with his wife. You then have this other situation where you have the tenant and the landlord who have been in a dispute about some things that need to be fixed around his apartment, and now he ends up shooting him because as they were arguing, he said something that was disrespectful. Not only does he kill the tenant, but he drives the woman who was just a stander by, and he shoots her and kills her too. And they said when they found her, she had like 8 bullets in her. She had 8 gunshot wounds in her. Does it pay to even argue these days? Because everybody's losing it.
Absolutely.
Brother Al.
It's the arguing, man. That's where you have to do the heavy praying. See, these people gotta look to the Lord. And I always said, God always give us a way out. We just have to take it, because every action causes a reaction. And I had to learn that because, you sit there and there's somebody coming at you and your first reaction is to attack back. But you have to sit back and be like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? I went through that with my tenant. And man, I'm telling you, I have 1,000 billions of testimonies with that tenant alone. Because if God was in the mix, so I didn't have God with me, I'd probably be in that same situation because this guy was something else. But I said, I gotta go to God about it. I gotta treat him with kindness, and I gotta do this, and it worked out for me. But it does not pay to argue these days because people got so much anger built up in them, and it ain't even a fight no more. They're, okay, we mad, let's fight.
Right.
We mad, I'm gonna kill you. You know,
Yep.
so it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Shantice, years ago was nothing to argue with people, and you going toe to toe with them, and now it's like you argue, you're dead. It's only got one result. Is it even worth arguing with people?
Like I said, I think it was yesterday or the day before. You want to be right, or do you want to be alive? It's sad because those are the choices that you have in life right now. You could be right. You could be right and dead, all because you're going back and forth with someone. And I was sitting here and I was reading the article because I was hoping that they were going to mention the type of drugs she was buying, because I can almost guarantee that it was weed. And weed seems to be that drug that just has everybody losing their mind, even though that's supposed to be, that's not a drug per se. It helps with everything. But even when you're not willing to argue, but if someone feels like you about to cause them a hostile situation, you might wake up dead. So it's even gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, don't argue. But even if you have the posture according to them, that you're willing to go toe to toe and give them that energy, everybody wakes up already with like, let somebody do this. Like they'll already wake up with that. One little thing can happen that breaks the camel's back. Why? Because they went to bed like that. They went to sleep like that. And that's how they're waking up. It's not. I remember having crazy road rage. I remember I would turn my car off and challenge grown men. Like, now ain't nobody going nowhere. Now what? Now it's like, do I want to get to my destination? Or do I want to be right? But now my mother got to show up to the scene of the crime, or somebody got to show up to the scene of the crime, like identify my body or something. Because people out here just sick. They just waiting and they're looking for people to take out because they're already upset. It's not worth it. It's not, regardless of who it is. Siblings, spouse, friends, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And Pastor Steph, and sometimes people don't realize that. I give you a perfect example, right? Now, I told you before, I have a licensed firearm that I carry at time. I have a carry license and thing. And I went to a range practice and I'm coming back, and this guy cuts me off, and I'm like, bro, you crazy? Dang. And I just left it alone. So the dude on my tail, honking the horn, pull over, he's just going in, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, you don't even realize that I got a licensed firearm, and you just follow me. And so I said, you know what? And it's so good that I have God in my life. I said, you know what? I'm not going to pull over. I mean, he's trying to cut me off. He's just going crazy past that. So what I did was I said, okay,
Wow.
Father God, how can I handle this? And God put on my mind, drive to the precinct. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. Keep following me, bro. I'm making my way to the precinct. So, and we're going to pull up right in front of the precinct, while you going crazy. But, as I was making my way there, he just turned off and went somewhere. So, again, having God in your life and asking him to guide you, asking for that traveling mercy, all that coming into play. Like I said, God give us the way out. We just have to listen and take it.
Yeah, it has to be a conscious decision. We have Pastor KL joining us now. So let's see what he's got to say. What he's got to say about this anger and arguing, and where does it take us? Your intent, it might be one thing, but their intent may be something else. Good morning, Pastor KL.
First of all, y'all don't appreciate my greetings. So that's first of all. When I greet you, appreciate my greetings. You know what I mean? Don't say, get on, we're waiting on you. Hello, how you doing? God bless you. Good morning, Pastor Steph. How are you?
I am not going to argue with you and tell you.
They're gonna argue it.
that
They're gonna argue
You're
it.
not going to tell me how to handle this show. There's only one of us in charge.
Pastor
Yes,
God,
ma'am.
he's
Yes,
giving you a
ma'am.
way out. He's giving
With
you a way out.
Pastor Steph. It's
I'll
due
hit like-
time with Pastor Steph. And Pastor Steph says, I don't need your greeting more than I need you on the camera.
No argument. No argument.
Oh, goodness. Wait, somebody earlier asked, who's elect Alex? They did ask. Somebody's got my back, I'm assuming, because they said, how they treating you in here. Well, this is how they're treating me in here. They're just so disrespectful, Alex. Oh, my goodness gracious. But I'm not going to argue because I don't want to. Wait, Shantice. Brother Al just reminded us that he has a carry permit. Pastor KL the other day told us that he has a carry permit. So I don't want to argue because I just might get shot.
Right.
So,
And we'll be in the
both have-
wrong because we can't get no carrier permits where we are.
Yes, you can.
Right. So I don't want to die
I don't need no
on
carrier.
camera. So I'm not arguing. But
Mhm.
all jokes aside, glad to have you on with us, Pastor KL. We're talking about two incidences of arguments escalating to two murders. Both cases ended up with two murders. Now, here's the thing. In each instance, the first murder was intentionally for that person. The second murder in each instance ended up being for somebody who just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, we're asking the question, is it worth arguing these days? Because clearly, we just don't end up arguing. Somebody ends up dead. And then again, to the degree of innocent people end up dead.
Right. Back in my day, we used to chest bump and arguing and you hit first. But that was all it was, just talk. Ain't nobody would throw those first blows, none of that stuff. Now these days, and you know what? I was very, 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 I need the anger management bad, but I wouldn't mind fighting you. You say something crazy to me, I just come and hit you. But now these days, especially with these younger folks, you want to strangle some of these younger folks, but you got to think, because these younger folks will shoot you. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different climate than when I was growing up. It's a whole different climate. Now, they would just shoot you for no reason. Oh, you looked at me wrong, so you disrespected me. You might not have said anything, but just a mere look, or that person was having a bad day, and you just happened to be in the crossfire. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different climate now. These young folks don't care about their life, so they sure enough don't care about yours.
Absolutely. Like you said, years ago, even if you fought, it was just a fist fight. And
right.
You just lost, and you just walked off and you licked your wounds, and that was it. And now these days, ain't nobody licking no wounds. It's death. It's death, because it's too much that I have to be concerned about the way I look and my ego. So now I have to kill you. I have to come back and I have to kill you. And this is the world we're living in now, where everything escalates to death. Tamika says, say it again.
I said, especially with the social media, because now it just ain't that. You lose a fight, the whole world see it. So now, oh no, I got to. It's Shantice folks, young folks.
Little worse.
Tamika says we can use the disclaimer for today's episode. No children were harmed while filming this broadcast. Amen. Oh, speaking of young people, we have a video that we want to watch and definitely get to talking about. Shantice, what you got for us?
Okay, trying to see if I can pull this up really quickly.
Georgia legislation could hold parents responsible if their child
Well, while we wait for Shantice to pull up this video.
We have it.
Okay. Thank you. All righty. Boy, we it's turning up. It's turning up. Years ago, you really didn't see, thank you, Shantice, you really didn't see attacks against teachers because teachers were older. Things were very different back then in regards to the law and what they would allow. Parents were different back then. And now we have an entirely new breed of teachers, entirely new breed of students, entirely new breed of educators, and an entirely different design of the educational system. So therefore, all of these things, all of this chemistry put together has aided in what has been allowed, what has been dismissed, what has been ignored, what has been experienced, what has been done. And now we're talking about Georgia, who is leaning toward having a law that's passed, Georgia Parent Accountability Act, where they're going to hold the parent accountable when your child attacks an educator. I need this room to let me know what you think, because we're going to hear from this Due Time crew today. Brother Al, you're the one who is working with these kids every single day. Do you think that this is something that's needed? Do you think this is just completely unacceptable? We cannot hold parents accountable for what their children do. What's your thought?
Boy, if my knee wasn't hurting, I'd do a backflip. I agree with it 100%. Oh my God, bring it to New York, please. Because it's just like what this woman said. These kids are act out. I wish you guys can be a fly on the wall when I meet with some of these parents. Oh, my child didn't do that. Oh, but they provoked my child. What? Are you serious? They got no respect for the teacher. That's why I won't become a teacher. No respect for a teacher, not just a teacher, just adult spirit. And I had to have a meet with some of the kids. I said, why do you guys talk to adults like that? Like, you how old? You 12? Why do you feel it's okay? No. Yes. Just like they doing now with a kid gets his parent gun and come in there, they hold them accountable, hold the parents accountable. That I believe that would fix so much stuff. Yes. Bring it to New York, please. I gotta get that lady's number, her email. Bring it to New York. I agree 100%. Yes.
All righty. Okay. Shantice, as a millennial, do you feel like this is something that needs to be done? Or listen, the parents, they have no control and they should not be held accountable. What's your thought?
Absolutely, especially for my generation. Hold them accountable. Punish the parent first most of the time. Again, it's not a case, it's not just a cookie cutter thing. Overall, for the most part, these parents do exactly like Brother Al described. They sit and they coddle these kids, they make excuses for these kids, even if they call themselves, disciplining them, whatever that looks like nowadays. but they take up for these children, especially in front of the authorities. So that's why the children feel like they can say and do whatever too, because I already don't respect you. And now I see that you'll take up for me even when I know I did something wrong. So absolutely keep it enforced. If they were to do this in a lot more states, the crime rate with these kids would be down. But again, because these parents don't respect authority, these children don't respect authority. That's why these parents don't give the children discipline, because they don't want to be disciplined. So now if the parents are held liable, it would show the children without the parents having to look over and say, neighbor, I just got in trouble. They would already see that they're getting in trouble as well. And that would then be the lesson. So absolutely, I'm loving it. I was like, finally.
Okay. The room is pretty quiet. I would love to know what you think as a person who's hearing this. Pastor KL, you brought this topic to my attention. What's your thought?
Well, y'all gonna be mad because I'm gonna go the other way. Now, okay, so not totally. So I do think that the parents should be accountable. However, I think before the parents get the blame, we as the government must get the blame. Watch this. So you take the rights of me disciplining my child out of my hands. So now, see, back in the day, we had the children, our children scared of us. So you were scared to do anything. Now we can't do anything to the children, so you're not scared of us. Do you remember back in the days when the teacher would say, well, I'm going to call your father. Now the student is saying, oh, you know what he is? I don't even know who my father is. Go call him. They don't care who you call, the father, the mother, the nothing. So now I got to go to jail because I can't discipline my child and because you can't control my child. So that's kind of crazy.
That's the government.
So your wait. So your vote is, I'm not sure. I want to make sure I'm hearing you.
Because I'm really not sure either. I mean, if it was me and the way I discipline my child, if you went out there and did something stupid, yeah, then I guess I should be accountable for it. But if you just got a wild, whatever, I have no control over this, and you've taken the control out of my hands. So how do you expect me to do anything? I'm in a catch-22 position.
Okay. We got a check-in from Deacon Diallo. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Brother Al, I'm going to start with you. Pastor KL says it's the government's fault. You can't tell me I can't discipline my child, but then hold me accountable for when my child misbehaves or attacks or whatever. Now, before I start, I want to give some statistics here. Physical attacks. They reported 4% of public school teachers were physically attacked by a student during the school year. They have threats of injury. In the same period, 6% of public school teachers reported being threatened with injury by a student. Verbal and non-physical aggression. They say the rates are much higher for verbal or non-physical aggression. They say one study found verbal abuse occurred in about 45% of cases, and non-physical aggression was reported by 29 to 35% of teachers. Physical violence. They said that they found that 14% of teachers reported being victims of physical violence. Now that you've heard these statistics, and these are kind of old, these are some older statistics, these are not more up-to-date statistics, what would you say, Brother Al, in regards to it's the government's fault, not my fault as a parent, because you've taken that away from me, the power to discipline my children away from me? What say you?
Okay, but first, those numbers are much higher. Trust me, and because you got some schools where these incidents happen, and they don't want their school to get a bad rating, so they'll sweep it under the rug. So that's number one. Number two, I don't care about that. That's your problem. You ain't not gonna bring your problem to my school, and I gotta sit there and I can't teach my class because, or say something to you because you're gonna act up, and and I still fault the parent. I don't care about no government. You ain't gonna be in my house acting the way you act, and I can't discipline you. Forget the government, then take them away from me. Take them away, or take your fight up with the government. That's no excuse for your child to come in and act up and assault me, and I can't do nothing neither. My hands is tied either. Me as a teacher, if a student hit me and I hit him back, oh, you don't hear, oh, the student punched Al. No, all you hear is Al did this to this student. This 12-year-old student was in school, and this teacher hit him. You don't hear what he did to me. So I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for you. Homeschool your child then. I got 30-something kids in my class, and I got to know, sir, homeschool your child then. I still think the same.
Okay. Well, we got Deacon Diallo. Thanksgiving for everyone was well. Thank you. We pray that yours was as well. Thank you for asking. We have Scorpion Yen, who says, no, that's a bit much. Happy New Day. Good morning. God bless teachers. I always say it. Thank God for the teachers. And more up-to-date statistics would be worse, I'm sure. These are older. Just looking at the numbers, I know that they were old. If I didn't even look at the dates, I agree. It's a mixture and it's a balance because kids can still be disciplined. It's just that there are different ways to parent and discipline. Okay. Who's AWC members? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm looking at, you know what? I'm thinking a closer walk. I'm sorry. Ms. Halima says that's exactly what I was getting ready to write. They took the rights of parents' control away, and now they want to jail the parents because the parent has no control. All righty. Shantice, what say you?
I wish I would at 40 tell mama, I wish you would, lady, because you can't do such and such. And Pastor Steph's mobility ain't what it used to be. But still, I wish I would buck up, talk about what the government said. Listen, it's just like when we think about Christians, right? When you see someone who says, I've now accepted the Lord, and they're corny, that means they were corny in the world, right? So it does. It's like, that's a cookie cutter. You were just corny in the world because you don't be popping in the world. You get to God and you start being corny. So you never had control over your child. And then now that the government said you can't do nothing, now you're going to blame the government. No. I agree with Scorpion, who said you just got to become creative. Develop new tactics. So I used to give you a black eye, now I give you a black elbow. But some going to be black, okay? Because you are not going to be... As for me in my house, you and the government can go pay rent somewhere else. Okay? And since you want to buck up, and I know I've heard of instances where kids are threatening, I'm going to call so-and-so. Okay, well, let them know how much you make a year and that you're moving in. I will beat you at the precinct and then tell them to take you. You are not going to tell me after I've carried a child. You expect me to pay and take care of this child. If I don't make sure my child goes to school, you lock me up, all of this, but then now you want to dictate how I discipline. Shut up. No, you're not. So stop blaming and take accountability. This is God chose you to be a steward over this child or these children. He did not give you whether you said you was going to do it and it wasn't his will, but he allowed you to have these kids, or whether it was his will for you to have these kids. He is not going to now allow you to have these kids to now say, look to your neighbor and say, neighbor, you can now tell me what to do with this child. No. Stop playing the blame game. Understand that there are different tactics and different ways to discipline. And we got to bring this back. We got to bring back the time when you was just able to look at your child and they would just do whatever you say. Because you're not doing anything. Stop. It ain't got nothing to do with no government. You don't listen to the government any other time.
And Pastor Steph, real quick, Pastor Steph, yes. and the thing is, they said, oh, they take away the discipline, but this child here is showing out. He ain't got, his grades is horrible. He's cursing out teachers, but when he comes to school, he got the latest sneakers. He got the latest clothes. So like Shanti said, there's different ways to do it. So I don't want to hear it. Keep your bad kid home.
Well, Deacon Diallo says, my mom used to slap the taste out of my mouth. Well, guess what? We come from that era as well. Anika says, I agree. We got lazy parents these days looking for all kinds of excuses for their bad kids. My thing is, listen, I'm not blaming anybody over holding the parent accountable. I cannot shift the blame to no government because the government has told me that I can't discipline my child. So therefore, you took the power out of my hands to discipline my child. What parent is going to let a child run rampant in their home because the government took the ability for you to discipline your child out of your hands? I don't know one parent who's making that claim personally. Now, is it more challenging? I absolutely agree. And I am one who can speak from personal experience about this particular issue. However, you just heard, that ain't never stopped what was going on in my home. So I couldn't do it this way. So if you choose to live here, which is always an option, even as a minor, I ain't forcing you to stay here. Because if you're going to live here, you're going to go by these rules. I'm not allowing you to slide by because the government has now made it more difficult, because they started shifting things. Well, you can hit them, but you can't hit them with a fist. You can hit them, but you can't hit them with an open hand. Well, I'm sorry, my hand is going to be in one way or another, either a fist or an open hand. It can be something else. Y'all gonna make up your mind as to.
I'm an elbow him in the face. You ain't saying about the elbow. Boom.
But you're not gonna stop holding a parent accountable. I think what needs to happen is these parents need to be held accountable for these children's behavior. Because look at what we saw 2 weeks ago when we had the woman walking her child to school and they attacked the children. And then when we saw this bogus apology, you had 3 adults on camera who were as useless as the day was long. But I promise you, had those moms whose children were a part of that melee been held accountable, you better believe, because we saw one of the mothers that said something like, they're coming for you, right? And pretty much I'm gonna hold the door wide open, right? I ain't locking no doors. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sleep with the door unlocked so they can have access to you. I'm not doing this, but I'm surely not going to look over at the government and say, you know what, being that y'all took my control away, you shouldn't hold me accountable. No, I think a lot of this, I think if the parents were to become a lot more invested in their children's behavior, that there would be a lot of different behavior. We have, I'm just going to call it young. The blame goes back to the parents. We can't blame the government for how we discipline our kids in our home. Discipline starts young. Absolutely. If parents were being parents and not their child's friend during those early years, they wouldn't be facing the same problems once their kids become teenagers. Absolutely. Tamika says, oh, okay. Hey, Joseph, thanks for joining us today. And Tamika says, when my friend's son started acting up, she made him go in the backyard and completely strip because she informed him he didn't have anything on that he himself purchased. Again, another tactic. That's the real issue. That's the real issue. Many teens today are being raised by millennials, which often results in babies raising babies. Too many millennial parents want to be outside or focused on working on themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a shift in parenting. So let's talk about that. I think that's the biggest problem we have is the shift in parenting. Tamika mentioned, told him to go outside and strip because nothing you got on belongs to you. I'm years ago, I used to be like right on that. However, my thing is, I think more damage is not take off your clothes, but take off this type of clothing. I think Brother Al was the one who mentioned, yeah, you acting up, but you got Jordans and you got this and that. Years ago, you bought them the bare necessities, the Skippies, the bare pants that they hated, the shirt that they hated. My girls hated flowers and turtlenecks.
Oh.
That was the way to go. Flowers and turtlenecks. All three of them. And they were in three different. Shantice is 5 years older than Shawnice. Shawnice is 8 years older than Tamasia. And they all hated turtlenecks and flowers. And baby, that was the way to go when they got them.
Pants with the stirrups underneath the foot. Just kill me.
That's the way to go. We can't make them naked because, listen, they didn't ask to come here. So we do have to do the bare necessities. We do have to provide the bare necessities. But Pastor KL, I'm going to ask you, since you were the one who pointed out, hey, I'm looking to the government. How does the parental discipline need to shift in order for you not to be able to not to be held accountable for this child's behavior?
Well, I mean, and I know everybody doesn't agree with it, especially the millennials, but you got to put fear back in these children. These children got to know that in my house, I run my house, and you're going to do exactly what I tell you to do. My mom used to always tell me, if you don't like the rules, go get a key. And the key means go get a key to your own house. Go get a key. You don't like it here? Listen, you ever go to a hotel or a motel and you go in the room and the room is not just what you wanted? You went out and said, listen, I need another room. So if you don't like this room, if you don't like how it is, go find another room. But in here, this is the only vacancy I got. This is all you get. And when we keep on, oh, mama, I don't eat that. Okay, well, let me cook something else. No, it's not a restaurant. You're going to eat what I cook. If you don't like it, go get a key. But we keep on accommodating these rude children, these unappreciative children. We give account because they have feelings. I didn't have feelings until I had a key. I'm sorry.
Sorry, he went back.
All right, Brother Al, what does this discipline need to look like in order for us not to be held accountable for our children's behavior?
Well, first of all, I'm surprised Shanti's still alive from acting up when she was young, but it's good to have you.
I almost didn't make it.
Almost didn't make it. It's good to have you. I would agree with Pastor KL. You got to put the fear back in these kids. Stop using that as excuse. Oh, the government said this. Oh man, forget the government. You want to act up. You're gonna do what I tell you to do in my house. Put the fear back in them. When your child, it's report card day. Your child come on report card. Tell them to go sit in the living room, sit on the chair with the report card and wait for you. Then you come in there, put a knife on the table, sit down next to him and say, "Let me see your report card."
A knife on the
You
table.
put the fear back.
Wait, brother Al. Wait. I was switching gears.
Don't make him repeat that.
Wait, you said put them. No, I wouldn't. Oh, is it that bad?
Oh,
Yes.
So you tell the child. You tell the child it's report card day, right? Child come in. Hey, Dad, I'm home. All right, you got your report card? Yeah, go sit at the table. I'll be there in a minute. And take out the report card. While he's sitting at the table, you come in there with a butcher knife, set it on the table. Hey, how's your day?
Oh,
Let me see your report card.
This
You
is
ain't
for-
doing nothing. Knife is on the table. I was cutting up some onions. So I put the knife on the table. Give me your report card. So now I'm looking at your report card with the knife on the table. He's looking at the knife, and I'm looking at the report card. You know what I'm saying?
well, you know what?
I didn't do
You know
anything.
what,
I was
right?
cutting
And you know what? Wait. You know what, brother Al? Excuse me. We're talking about putting fear, right? So it's just fear.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't threaten him. I didn't point the knife at him. I just put it on the table because I was cutting it.
Lord have mercy. Just fear. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. All righty. Let's get some of these comments before we go to Shantice, because she's the extremist. Oh, Lord. Instead of being a full-time parent, some believe that buying things for their kids is the same as taking care of them, and it's not. Just because you're a mother, father doesn't make you a parent. Absolutely, Joseph. Let's see what's going on. Point blank, period. Tamika says, as far as punishment, I couldn't stand those summer jellies. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. And we have a check-in from Easter Manson Solomon, praying for healing for my fibroids and sickness. Pray for my blood. Amen. Keeping you lifted in prayer. Tamika says, not the knife, Al. And Sir says, too soon, brother Al, too soon. All right. How do we shift the look of discipline in order for a parent to hear, I need to take accountability for my child and be okay with it?
Well, I loved when it was brought up. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But in junior high, there was one of my classmates where you always knew when he was on punishment because he had to wear a uniform. So everybody else was wearing regular clothes, but he got a uniform on. And not just the colors, because they were trying to enforce uniforms when we were going there. But then because none of the parents wanted to comply, they just said, okay, you just wear the colors as long as the children wear the gray and white. No, he had on like the Catholic school uniform with the thick tube socks, everything like it. Like you must be on punishment. Like, Dad, how often are you gonna be on punishment? And I will never forget when one of my friends, one of his goddaughters, the mother asked, could she send the goddaughter to him to stay with him and his family for a while because she was out of control. So she ate dinner. And while everybody was at the table eating the salmon dinner, she had peanut butter and jelly. At the same table. Not go sit over there. Not we in the living room eating, so you sit at the table. No, everybody sit at the table eating salmon, rice, whatever vegetable, and she would have a peanut butter and jelly. It was just like if any of y'all saw the episode of Martin, when he was on that weight challenge diet thing, and Gina fixed that healthy plate for her with the 2 types of potatoes and a steak, but gave him the 2 rice cakes on the plate, dry rice cakes, no sauce, no nothing. Yeah. That's what she had to endure. So again, different tactics. So if I give you the visible scars, I may get locked up, and I'm not about to get locked up for you. I'd sooner plant the murder weapon on you and tell you, call the cops so you get arrested. I'm not going to jail for you. However, if God says to keep you here, you ain't going to stay here in luxury. Oh, you gonna know what luxury is at the end of the day. Somebody gonna have to donate you instead of sending 50 cents a day to the kids overseas. Somebody gonna have to sponsor you by the time I get finished. Okay, but like Joseph said, because everybody needs to be, I'm outside, and I'm doing this, and I need to go out, and I'm finding me, I need to fix me, and all that. So now the kids gotta pay because you gotta fix me. Fixing you is what got them here. But now that discipline them in those ways. All the scars don't have to be physically visible. But these kids are traumatized when you do stuff like that. Sometimes we would rather the beating than for you to send me to school in a uniform. I'd rather the beating than for you to take my privileges and my now devices. We didn't have devices growing up, but these devices, hit them where it hurts. Take time to learn your child and know where it hurts. Pastor Steph used to make us just stand in the middle of all the bed.
I was getting ready to, don't tell my story. Don't tell my story.
That's my story. My story. Okay.
But she's still talking, right? Get her. Get her.
She used to make us stand in the foyer, in the middle of the 4 bedrooms, in the dark. Once it got dark, and we had kind of like a sky, in the dark. Once it got so, unless the sun was out, we had no light, and we couldn't sit down, we couldn't lean on the wall, we couldn't do nothing. We just had to stand there, and then she would play our favorite TV show all loud and be laughing. So we would hear the theme song and everything, and she didn't have a good old time. And we would have to stand, and God forbid you moved from that spot. I would have rather her had soaked the belt in salt water and beat me than to stand there for hours. No. Take time to learn your kids and hit them where it hurt. They'll start listening.
Pastor Steph had a refugee camp.
Yes,
I sure did. I sure did. Everything was not about the physical. And my thing was, like I said, at that time it was just the 2 of them. You had to get real creative because they got to the point where whatever you did, they would become amenable instantaneously. And I was like, okay, oh, no. See, I'm going to get more intense. So again, like she said, my upstairs is like a square. And you just stood right in the middle of the foyer. And when I tell you, it would kill them. It would kill them.
Looking at all the weird things you can't watch.
Just stand there. And I will tell this story because this is my story. I went away on a weekend to come back and get a letter in the mail that said that I was going to be arrested because Shantice wasn't going to school. She had cut school so many days that they were going to come and arrest me.
It was only 80 days.
Not Shantice.
A measly 80 days.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
You have lost, both of y'all have lost your mind. You're not putting me in jail because she won't go to school because I'm going to work. You being sent to school, and this was in high school. And I had just come, like I said, I had just taken off, so I could not take off at that moment. And I sent my mother and my sister to the school.
You should have just beat me.
Now, when I tell you that was 10 times worse
than
me to school, this is what you have to build around you. You've got to have that fort and that fortress around you so that no matter which way these kids move, there's no out. I remember my middle girl, she started acting up and she was like, I'm going to grandma's house. And I said, what grandma are you talking about? My mother. Because see, if you don't act right here, you're not taking that. See, I had 2 problems with that statement. I'm going to grandma's house. Well, if you go to grandma's house, your plan is to act better when you get to grandma's house. Because see, the grandma, hey, she ain't taking that nonsense. So you now are going to behave when you get there. You're not going to try anything. You're not going to be disrespectful. I have a problem with that because I'm your mother. So you're going to bypass acting right with me to now go act right with someone else. Or you go, because I've seen, like Shanti said, you take and you go now to someone else and now you drive them crazy. So I'm not sending you're not leaving here to go drive my mother crazy. So my thing is, you need to have a fortress built around you that there's no place for these kids to go.
We can't hear you,
That's-
Pastor.
we can't hear you.
You can't. Okay, hold on.
We hear you now. We hear you now.
Okay.
Clean yourself up.
When you allow these children to dress, like they're coming out of off the showroom floor, when they're being allowed all the privileges, you need to take accountability, because somewhere along the line you've lost sight of what needs to happen. Joseph says, I agree with you, Brother Al, and that was about, oh no, not the knife thing on the table. Miss Erlima says, I started uniforms in PS 123 when my kids were going there. They hated me, but it worked. Absolutely. It was the parents that hated it. Yeah, they hated it, not the kids. I was part of the PTA. It was the parents. Sorry about that. Okay, so I get what you're saying. Yeah, the children don't like that. They want to be able to kind of flow. So yeah, you need to be held accountable. Now, here's my question for you all. What does accountability look like? Woo! Brother Al.
Oh my God.
We're going to now hold the parents accountable. What does that look like?
Man, that's a good question there. What does that look like? Okay. What that look like to me, you come sit in the class with your child. I don't care that you got to go to work. Take some days off. You got some sick days. You got whatever days. You come sit in the classroom with them and see what I go through trying to teach the class, and your child just showing his behind. You come sit in the class with them.
Okay. Shantice, what does accountability look like?
You're going to have to give me a play-by-play rundown as to how your house works. So you go home and what happened? You go east and they go west? Who cooks? Who's a homework checker? Because I'm still trying to figure out how you in the 2nd, 3rd grade and you get the report card and the teacher's able to write missing homeworks. How? When you supposed to be checking? I don't understand. We're not talking about a high school student, maybe not even a junior high school student, but the 2nd and 3rd grade. So you would have to give me a run down. I need a progress report on you. See, the kids are not the only ones who need progress reports. I need a progress report on you. So the same way a social worker would show up for the child and make sure the child someone needs to show up for the parent and random visits, making sure I come home, I don't smell no chicken frying or nothing. You're negligent. Why you ain't cooking? Despite popularity, a lot of this processed food aids in your child being schizo. Okay, so food, I want to smell food. I want to see if you get to work on time, because see, your lack of discipline feeds into your child's lack of discipline. So I need to see all that. So if they are tracked and held accountable for themselves as well, it would help for them to now shape up for their child. So Joseph said, I'm trying to find myself. Well, you can find yourself to work on time, like your child found their work themselves to school on time. And now everybody can find themselves with a good report, with random visits and making sure things are held up right. And if not, there needs to be some type of penalty.
Okay. Pastor KL, what does holding a parent accountable look like?
I think in the beginning of the school year, a lot of times beginning of the school year, especially when you're in a new school, you go with the child to the school to pick up their programs and all that stuff. But I think you should also have a piece of paper come to you, say that you need to be at every PTA meeting. You need to be, when we have the report cards, you need to come see us. When a child sees that you're involved in their life and that you're going to check up on them, then they do a lot better. But when they see that you don't care, oh, did you have homework? Yeah, I did it already. Oh, good job. You don't look at the homework. You don't see if the answers are right or wrong. You don't know when they're having a test. I think that when you partner up, or when the school makes you partner up with them, and the child has to see that, then it'll be a better result.
Okay. Now we're talking about different levels. I gave you the statistics. You have nonverbal, verbal threats, you have non-verbal threats, which is the physical threats and things like that. What is the degree of accountability? How deeply does this accountability go? Shantice, again, I'll go back to your situation where they wrote, okay, we're going to arrest you if your child does not attend school. That was just for attendance. They weren't even talking about, now whether they plan on carrying it out or not is something different, but that was the threat. And that was just from her not attending school. We're not talking about some of these statistics that I read where you were threatening the teacher. The teacher said that they were physically assaulted, so forth and so on. So how deep do we handle this accountability, Shantice?
Like, what should the penalty be?
Yeah, how deep does that penalty go?
Well, it depends on the infraction. It depends. Again, it can't be just a cookie cutter. So, like in my instance, my mother was sending me. I mean, she could have, but when you're in high school, you just trust the fact that your child is going to get to school. It's not like elementary or junior high where you take your child to school. So once they did their investigation, the investigation in my past education life, our home life, they would have saw that this wasn't a negligent parent. So the penalty there is like, okay, versus when you do have a negligent parent, and especially your child is missing school because you're not taking them when they're still around the age where you should be taking them, then again, it needs to be according to that. So whether that means something like, well, you lose your job because your first job is to make sure that your child is okay. So since you can't do that, it's like school. It's like when a teenager says, I want a job, but yet their grades suck. It's like, I'm sorry, you already had one job. You can't get your grades right. How you working? So as a parent, listen, I need to take care of you. I need to support. I'm sure you do. You're right. However, at the same time, you paying these bills mean what when your child is running the streets? And now I see 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders hopping on and off these buses like throughout the day and night like it's nothing. And my first thing is like, where are the parents? How are you just roaming the streets by yourself like this? So since you need a little more time to care for your child, then we need to find you a job that's remote, that's home. And for a lot of adults, that kills them. They need to be out. But whether, it's something like that, or if it's to where these kids, which is crazy, are putting their hands on these teachers. You're investigating and see, is that something they're picking up from home? A lot of times that's because that's what they're experiencing at home. They do it at home, they get to do it at school, or their parents beat on them, so now they're going to come to school and beat on the teachers. So it really depends on what the infraction is.
Okay. Brother Al, we're talking about something from the degree of not attending school to you actually physically assaulting a teacher. What's the degree of accountability that the parent will suffer?
Well, I believe that the parent and the student should seek counseling, and they got all these programs in the school. Okay, we're gonna go to the point now where you need to get some counseling with your child so we can see what exactly is the problem. They have a lot of things that they should do. I remember when in high school, my senior year, I transferred. I went to a private school, and I remember my mother had to take me to the doctor. And she forgot to write a note. She said she was going to call school, and she forgot. And I'm in the house getting dressed. We hear a knock at the door. It's somebody from my school. Excuse me, why is Al not in school today? And I'm like, wow. And my mother said, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to write the note. So, it need to work hand in hand. Everybody got to work together. There's incidents where I see a lot in the school where the mother's trying to discipline, but the kid feels so comfortable. Oh, well, I'm going to go to grandma. Oh, I'm going to tell grandma that you did this and that, and the grandma's taking the child's side. So it's everybody got to work together. But yes, you're going to go seek some counseling. And people got to get the fear out of them. I see teachers like, yo, why you let that kid? Man, I can't lose my job. They will tell you in my school, them kids are terrified of me. Because I stand my ground, I'm like, you're a little kid, you're serious right now? You know who you talking to? I get the most respect in that school. I get more respect than the principal. Because I said, well, if I'm gonna lose my job, then I'm gonna lose my job. Ain't no sixth grader come up here punching me in my face and gonna survive this. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna talk to me that type of way. My kids are grown men and don't talk to me like that. So when they see them standards, they always been a rule when you're working with kids, or you gotta kind of set the standards from the jump. You cannot talk crazy, you cannot curse. You come into my school, they'll be like, wow. You'll be like, wow, man, they respect them high. That's why I've been all the parents beat, because they know I stand my ground. But I would say the parents will have to go to counseling with their child so we can figure out this situation.
Okay. Tamika says, yes, Pastor KL, how many parents have no idea what's going on in the school? I was part of the PTA when I lived in Richmond. Participation was minimal. We even had to pay parents to simply show up for their own children. What does accountability look like to the degree of, I feel like I'm being held accountable for my child misbehaving, for my child attacking a teacher? How deep do we go?
Pastor
I
K.
lost y'all. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I say hit the pocket. And let it be like a speeding ticket. Depending on how fast you went over the speed level, will determine how much you got to pay. This is what I know about us. If you keep on hitting my pocket, something is going to get straight real quick. If you keep taking money out of my household because of your nonsense, something's going to get straight real quick. As you guys saying, buy them the Skippies. Don't buy them the Jordans. If you see that you got to look like Homie the Clown, and I got to give you a half a haircut because I can't afford the whole haircut because you acting crazy, then you get it together. If you can only get one cornrow on the side, but this side is staying off because that's all I can afford is that one cornrow, yeah, I'm sorry, you'll get it together.
All right. Have a day and have a great day. Thank you for joining us, Miss Halima. We appreciate your contribution into this chat. All right. I got one more question. We got a couple of minutes. I got one more question. So now we run up against the possibility of, if I make you look like Homie the Clown, you will not go to school and you may become worse. Where do I go from here? And I'll start with you, Shantice. Where do we go from here? You ain't going to school with a cornrow, with skippies on, and you if I go to that degree these days. Years ago that would work. I'm just saying I'm not going to school at all. Where do you go from here?
No, we'll have the teachers forward your work to the precinct. Because you ain't sitting up in here and you're not roaming the streets, and now they looking at me trying to hold me accountable. So you have you have three choices. You either skip in them skippies to school, you get a police escort to school, or you sit in the precinct and do your homework and do your classwork. Everyone loves remote learning now, right? Okay, well, I can ask Sergeant whomever or Officer whomever, I can give them the device so you won't be on it doing things you ain't got no business doing. And you can sit in the precinct now, and now a cop can get mad at you because now their detail is to sit and babysit you while you do your schoolwork. Now let's see how much animosity you get after Officer Richardson has to now spend his day sitting and watching you do your classwork. So we can play this game, but you got one of three choices.
Okay. Brother Al, I'm not going to school. Now what?
Oh,
Where
you
do we
getting
go
up
from
out of
there?
here? You getting up out of here? But I always said, I think, and I know you and Pastor Carol remember this. They need to bring back the truant officers.
Yes.
Around them school. These kids, they sitting outside Sometime in my school, we got cameras, and I'll look on the camera and see these kids sitting right in the park. I'll look, I'll be right back. As soon as they see me come out and go, oh, here come Mr. Al. Get behind in school before I start cracking. You know what I'm saying? And they'll get up and go. Like I said, because I give very, very good respect. But we need to bring back those truant officers. So when you hanging out around it, and the kids are not smart. They won't come into school, but you be in the school park, or you be right around the school. You don't go nowhere else. You right here where I can see you. So they need to bring their truant officers back to ride around these schools, and you see the kids, you pick their mind up and bring them right in school. So that's what we need to bring back. That's it. Yes, sir.
All right. Pastor KL, where do you go from there? You described what used to work years ago. Shantice talked about it, how your all of your attire changes, and we go drastic. And they're like, well, I'm not going to school at all because I'm surely not going to school looking like this. Where do you go from there?
And again, this is back in the dinosaur days. But when I didn't want to follow the rules at home, quickly, my mother and father showed me a new home. It was called a group home. A group home where I had many people just like me in a group home. This, you don't have to follow rules here, but you will follow rules somewhere else. It's just like, you don't want to live free following rules, but when you go to jail, you got to follow rules. I mean, when they say lights out, lights out. So you would rather, just like you said, your child wanted to go to grandma's house, you would rather go and follow somebody else's rules and lose all the luxuries and benefits than following the rules at home. Then have at it. But you're going to another home. It may be a home in the sky, and you keep bothering me.
The group home has many mansions, like the Lord said. The group home has many mansions.
Ooh, all right. What a dilemma. What a dilemma. Thank you so much for introducing this conversation, Pastor KL. Thank you so much, my Due Time crew, for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
You as well. You as well.
Stay alive, Shanti. Shanti, stay alive. We need you.
Oh my goodness gracious. Before I go any further, I just want to remind you that God Spares this evening at 7:30 right here on A Closer Walk Christian Media Network and Facebook Live. We will be presenting our final episode of My 2 Cents. We will be reviewing The Madness Netflix series as well as Reasonable Doubt. We'll be finishing that tonight. And that's Brother Ainsley, Shantice, and myself. And we will be holding this month our last rapid fire of our 90s and early 2000s movies. Come tonight and find out what Rapid Fire is all about, as well as our My 2 Cents virtual awards. So come on in the room, 7:30. Join us tonight so you can find out what we will be doing to wrap up this year, God Spares, later on. Woo! Where do we go? Georgia is talking about introducing a Parent Accountability Act for our children who are in the school misbehaving. The teachers are enduring quite a bit. They're there to teach our children, to help to educate them, help with their development and their growth. And they are rejecting, they're misbehaving, they are attacking, they're being disrespectful. What do we do with them as their parents? Are we doing anything at home? That's the biggest question. Are we already doing something? Can we ramp it up? Is it ramped up to the highest degree? Just like I finally asked, where do you go from here? I was a parent. I didn't let my children slide on anything. My thing was, listen, you have to get through this period of life. If you fail at K through 12, whether it's in the school, whether it's in those age ranges, whatever it is, then you don't stand a chance as an adult. You don't, because life is about being obedient. Life is about obeying rules. Life is about structure and discipline. And if you can't handle this, you will not be able to handle anything. And I'm going to tell you something. As a person who has always worked with the younger generations, exactly what's happened. We are seeing a continual breakdown. When we went 2 weeks ago and we saw the video of a mob of children, and if you looked at some of those children in that video attacking that woman and her 2 children, those were some young kids. And when we just did a story the other day, another mom being mobbed with her child, they said the ages were from 11 to 15. Really? 11 through 15. You can't do anything with your children from 11 to 15. When we showed this bogus apology, we didn't hear women who were helping to keep this girl who attacked this adult woman for no reason. We didn't hear them hold her accountable at all. We heard excuses. We heard, well, we need y'all to remember, don't come down hard on her because they're just children. They didn't act like children. They acted like monsters. And that's the way they need to be treated. Since you act like a monster, we'll make this work. We'll make this work. You will have the bare minimum. There are no luxuries at the zoo. We don't give them, like you see on TV, the cats are being served out of, bowls with diamonds on them. And no, we don't get that. We don't get steak, and we don't get, I used to always call it out food. We don't get, the food from the restaurants. We don't get DoorDash, and we don't get Uber Eats. We don't get the luxury, clothing. We don't get the luxurious sneakers. We don't go. Yesterday we talked about the hairstyles that cost $200-$300. We don't go get the haircuts and things like that. And unfortunately, haircuts don't seem to be, the thing these days. Walking around with your head just as nappy as the day is long. But they want it lined up, so we don't get any of that. How far do you go with your children? And then how far do the authorities go with you to hold you accountable for what your children either do or don't do? Well, I'm going to tell you something. As a hardworking mother, I am not going to eat your sins. It's already a sin for me not to discipline you. It's sinful. Bible tells us to train up a child in the way they should go. When we don't do that at any level, whether we're talking about spiritually or just trying to teach them simple morals, we failed our children. And now the government is coming for us. The authorities are coming for us. Yes, you may tell me I cannot discipline my child to this degree. However, you can't put me in jail for feeding my child peanut butter and jelly. You cannot put me in jail or discipline me for giving my child the bare necessities. Now, when my child decides that the bare necessities is not what they're going to go for, because I'm not going to school, I'm not looking like this, I'm not living like that, I'm not eating this, despite the fact that you got us here. You got us here. I didn't just wake up one day and decide that this was going to be your treatment. Because prior to this, you got everything that you needed and I wanted you to have, and that you wanted. There were some luxuries here. But when you decide that you're going to go against the grain, now it's time for you to officially pack up and leave. And as Pastor KL said it, yeah, we're going to find you a nice group home or somewhere for you to go, because right now it's either you or me. And if I've honestly done everything that I am supposed to do, and I'm still failing, or you're still working against the grain, now there's a problem. I'm not going down. But here's what I want to bring up to you. When we say, have I done everything? What's the standard on that? Is I've done everything the world's version of doing everything, or is I've done everything God's version of doing everything? Every single day, pretty much, I say to you, give your children to God. Stop offering your children a life without God. Because we've made this look so great, because we do so well, and even though we don't go to church, we're still well off, and we're still doing good, and my kid is a good child. I don't think I need God. Not at all. When you have tried everything and everything has failed you, and you have not tried God, that's where you've missed it. These children are much different. We talk about this all the time here. They are much different than we were at their age. And we were giving God. We were giving God. And that may be part of the reason why. Because even when you did not feel you wanted God, you packed them up and sent them with somebody. Grandma took them, auntie took them, somebody took your child to God. And we underestimate the effect of a godly covering. We really do. Because see, the word of God says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow older, they will not depart from it. It is not contingent. There is no maybe. Once you plant the seed, you can't unplant the seed. And the Lord says himself, they will not depart from it. Now, there's not to say that Jeffrey Dahmer mama didn't take him to church. But there is still something there. And the thing about this is we can always war against the Spirit of the Lord. Whether it rests upon us, whether it's internal, we can always war against it. God did not make us robots. So therefore, even though we have fed our children God, does not mean it doesn't exist. It means that we have rejected it. But will you run the risk of not offering it at all? And they don't even have anything to war against. They are just open season for the enemy and this world. Or are you willing to say, you know what? I'm going to give my child God. I'm going to give them the foundation, and then let them make the decision as to whether they're going to accept it or reject it. My grandmother had quite a few grandchildren. I grew up with my cousins, brothers and sisters. We didn't grow up, distant. We grew up right there together underneath my grandmother. And she insisted that all of us go to church, and we just had parents that obliged. We went to church. Two of us go to church today. Two of us follow God today. There are some who you would never even know that God ever was even introduced to them. Because that's how far removed. And you have some who you see some remnant of, that it shows. They haven't given their lives to God, but there's some remnant. The sad part is that God has made this very clear. Unless we are born again, there's no possibility of salvation. And that is real to two of us. We're standing that ground. We're standing the ground. Now, does it mean that those who have not accepted God to this point will never? Absolutely not. Because you have until the day God closed your eyes for you to say yes to his will and yes to his way. Are you willing to take the chance, not only with your life, but the lives of those behind you? Your children, your grandchildren. Are they going to be so far removed that they are not coming back because they've quenched that foundation And that's not a chance I was willing to take. Even when I had not accepted God for myself, but the seed had been planted. And that's something that we need to make sure of. We cannot dictate or determine what our children will do with any of our disciplining. So we can break our neck, whether we send them to church or whether we don't. And we just press our way into their lives and make sure we give them this and make sure we give them that and make sure they have this and make sure they have that. And they may accept it and they may not. But again, the question on the table is, are you willing to take that chance? That was never an option for me. And here it is. Right now, I have a daughter who is actually ministering with me every day on this broadcast. Whether you see her in front of the camera or whether you see her behind the camera, there is a special joy in that. I have my youngest daughter who has also accepted Christ and has been baptized. And that's my Gen Z. The one who I have certain challenges with that I didn't have with the two millennials. But it is a joy in the Lord to know that I can reach her differently than my middle girl. And my middle girl is a hard worker and she treats her daughter well. She takes care of her daughter well. But I see some little missing things, and there will always be some little missing things when there's no God in your life. She's a good, hardworking, educated, wonderful young woman. But God does not lead her life. And I see the difference in the three of them. The two that have accepted God and the one who hasn't. And I love them all. But my prayer is that middle one will come to Christ. But the blessing that I have is having my hands on my granddaughter, who has a mom who has not accepted Christ. We work hard and make sure that my granddaughter understands who God is. That's our job. And as long as that seed was planted in my daughter, there is always the possibility that she has not moved that far. And she doesn't war against us. Whatever we give her daughter, she doesn't war against us. And a lot of that probably comes from the fact that the foundation was laid there. So I give God thanks for everything he's done in my daughter's lives. I can't control them. I just got finished telling you, she's laughing. She's saying it was just 80 days. I didn't have this smooth sailing of a parent. Yeah, things happen. Things happen. But listen, take your child and give them to God. They don't belong to you before they belong to God. Shanti said it perfectly. We have been given stewardship over these lives. These lives don't belong to us before they belong to God. God has placed them in our hands, and we are going to be held accountable. And that's how I'm going to wrap this up. Whether the law of the land holds you accountable or not, God will always hold you accountable for what you did and did not do for your child. The standards are much higher when it comes to God and your accountability. We have been given very direct information as to how we are to give our child back to God. That is uncompromising. He has not said, if you choose to. He says, train them. Spare not the rod. That give your child to God. Increase their chances of God accepting them into the kingdom. That accountability you need to be worried about, and you cannot blame the government for that. It's all on you. How will you answer to God for the accountability when it comes to your children? Because that ain't gonna be what the law of the land will offer you. So regardless of what accountability looks like in regards to how they're going to handle us, God is going to make sure he handles us in a certain way when we defy what he has given us to do when it comes to our children. We are always accountable for our children. We just don't remember it because it ain't in our face every day. But if you study that word of God, it is in your face every day. Don't miss that opportunity. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tonight, right here on the Closer Walk Christian Media Network, where we'll be going through my 2 cents, the reviews. I hope to see you tonight. If not, God spares, I'll see you in the morning for Freestyle Friday, where we get to do whatever it is we want to do. We'll talk to the men is what we will do. God spares our life. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, I love you.